Hi, welcome to Cooking with Bubbles. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Rodney. Let's get started.
All right.
Still dry January. This is our last episode where we are not drinking Prosecco. And so next week, you'll get to see us pop a real cork.
Yay.
And we would invite our audience, if you have not already, to open up your own bottle of bubbles or whatever it is you like to drink on a Sunday morning or whatever day you're watching, and enjoy the episode with us.
Yep, that's a great idea. Well, Rodney, I'm really glad we're getting to do this again. I love the fact that we've come up with the idea to clink, to come up with a way that we could still spend time together in our kitchens and still cook like we've always loved doing for the past, I don't know how many years. So this is a great way. And with everybody staying home more, this is a fun way to get to spend time with your friends. Love it.
Absolutely.
So what are we going to do? What are we making today?
We are making another copycat recipe. It's an apple gorgonzola salad. And you may have had it in a chain Italian restaurant that's family style. And sometimes they let you sit in the kitchen to have your dinner. It's one of our favorites. We have some friends that we go out to eat with at this particular restaurant. They do not like gorgonzola. We do. So we get it, we share it with them, and they pick off the gorgonzola and give it to us.
That's a great idea. And I've made a recipe like this, similar to this before. I just use kale salad in mine. So it works out really, really good. And I love gorgonzola.
I'll drink bubbles to that.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So basically what's going in this recipe will be candied pecans, a homemade mustard vinaigrette dressing, and then we're going to assemble the salad where we're going to toss in some cranberries, some apples, along with our lettuce. So let's go ahead and see what happens.
Well, to get started, I'm going to walk us through making the candied pecans. So I'm going to make my screen big, and we're going to get that process started.
Great.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my pan, and I'm going to put in some butter. And the recipe says to put all ingredients together in the pan and mix them up until the pecans are toasted. Based on my experience, I'm not, and Lisa, you actually made these this week, and you said that they didn't get coated as well as they could have. So I'm going to lean on my knowledge and experience cooking, and I'm going to melt my butter first, and then put in my sugar to melt my sugar, and then I'm going to put in the pecans to get them coated, and then we'll sprinkle in the other ingredients to give them the nice candy crisp and flavor that we want out of our pecans.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to melt my butter as well, and I'll follow your direction on that.
Awesome. So I'm so glad I bought this nice tabletop stove or burner to give us a much better view into what we're cooking versus taking you over to my stove and not being able to see anything. All right. So while that's melting, which it's almost there, I'm going to kind of share with you the ingredients that are going to go in after the sugar. So we're going to put in a quarter cup of sugar, which I'll put in a moment. And then I've pre-measured everything. So I've got some salt. I'll just use the salt bowl. Half a teaspoon of salt. I've got a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon. Sorry, get this right. I'm gonna mix that in there. I've got a half a teaspoon of ground ginger. Put that in there. I've mixed my black pepper and my cayenne pepper together. So I've got a half a teaspoon of ground black pepper and then just a pinch of cayenne pepper. And I'm gonna mix that all together and stir it up so that when we do put it on the pecans, it will coat evenly and we won't have any areas that it doesn't get the mixture.
That's a really good point, because that's what happened to me. I had items that were not completely mixed together.
So you made your batch this week. How many of them do you have left?
I have the container that I stored them in. We ate like every bit of it. It was really, really good.
Well, they must have been good. All right, I'm going to put
Yeah,
my
they
sugar
were.
in now. I'm going to stir that up till the sugar's nice and blended with the butter. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. It's getting brown quick. Sugar melt. All right, I'm going to put my nuts in now. So I've got 1.5 cups of pecan halves. Those are the kinds of pecans that I typically have in my house. They're great for making pecan pies and other things, or just a snack on. I'm going to make sure that they all get exposure to some of the butter sugar mixture so that the other stuff, the other goodness I'm going to put on top will get evenly distributed. All right, I'm going to sprinkle this mixture over, do it as evenly as I can. Oh my goodness, this smells so good.
Yeah, it does.
And then I'm going to just keep on mixing it until the pecans are nice and toasted and most of the butter and sugar is all blended into the pecans.
And for me, it took about 7 or 8 minutes when I did my little test run on this to see how long it would take, because I wanted to make sure everything was fully coated.
Yeah. Ooh, that's looking really good.
Those look really good.
So welcome back, everyone. Took about what Lisa suggested for getting these nice and candied. I did have to turn the heat down. So the recipe calls for medium heat, and I had to turn it down to more like a low medium so that it didn't burn the pecans. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to lay these out on a foil sheet that I've lightly sprayed with non-stick grease, and let them cool and crisp up or harden up a little bit and dry, because we're gonna need these later for our salad when we put it all together. And next, Lisa is going to walk us through the vinaigrette. So let me just change our view here. All right, Lisa, you're up.
So that's my goal, is to show you how we're going to make the vinaigrette. I'm going to just tilt this a little bit. I'm using one of these like small kitchen mixer kind of things. Figured that might make it easier than getting out the gigantic blender. And what I'm putting together in this is going to be a 1/2 cup of cider vinegar. So I'll go ahead and get started with that. 1/2 cup of vinegar. That was the oil, mine. 1/2 cup of olive oil. I'm going to be putting in 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Drop that guy in. I'm going to be putting in about 1/4 of a red onion. So when I measured what I had, it was about 1/4 cup of red onion. So that guy goes in. And I'm also going to be adding a teaspoon of oregano, so dried oregano. That goes in. It calls for garlic. The recipe says 1 clove, but you know me, I got to put in 2 cloves because I like that flavor.
There is no such thing as too much garlic.
Not in this house, there isn't. So that guy goes in, and then I'm going to put in just a couple of twists of cracked pepper. And it says salt to taste. So usually with salt, I might put in, a couple of shakes. Looks like it's less than 1/8 of a teaspoon. Put all that guy in, snap my lid on, make sure I close it this time. Then I'm blending. looks really good. It's come together and it's all emulsified. So that is it. It's not a super thick dressing, but I can give you a little shot of it. So it's going to be a vinaigrette. And that's all there is to that piece. How's yours look, Rodney? Did you get yours blended?
I did. And mine looks really good. Mine, let me figure this out. All right, so here's what mine looks like. It's nice and emulsified. It's nice and got a little bit of chunks in it, a few chunks from the onion, from the oregano. I actually bought the fresh oregano from the refrigerator section and let it dry,
nice.
and then smash it up myself. And so it's a little bit chunkier than it might be if you bought it in a container that's already ground from the store.
Right. And since I use dry oregano, you know, it was easy, it was ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, I need some bubbles.
All right. Yeah, I'll drink to that. Cooking and blending is exhausting.
Oh, apparently. And before I serve this and toss it, I think I'll probably, you know, zip it again one more time, just to kind of make sure it's nice and good.
All right. Well, I've got my lettuce ready. I'm using romaine, which is what the recipe calls for. You can use whatever you want. Lisa, what are you using in yours?
So I always like to do a mixture. So I'm doing a mixture of romaine, but also a little bit of spring mix.
Oh, very nice.
But it's ready to go.
One of the things we like to talk about on this show is food safety. And one of the things that you can watch out for with lettuce or any sort of leafy greens is, what does the package say? Does the package say it's already pre-washed and ready to eat? Or does it say wash before using? So you want to pay attention to that. Mine actually said wash before using. So I did that. I washed it before I chopped it, washed it, let it dry, and chopped it up, and mine's ready to go.
Sounds good.
All right. So on top of my lettuce, first of all, we wanted to just point out we're making a half of a batch today because we're not going to eat an 8-person serving today. So we're only going to use about half of what the recipe calls for. But from the recipe standpoint, it calls for 2 hearts of romaine chopped. It calls for a cup of crumbled gorgonzola, a cup of dried cranberries, and I like to chop mine up, make them a little bit smaller than how they come in the bag. And then an apple, half of it's diced, half of it is sliced, and the candied pecans that we just made, which mine are drying out nicely over here on the stove behind me. So I'm going to put it all together, and then we're going to toss it, and we're going to eat it and see how it tastes.
Sounds good.
So I'm putting the diced apples in the salad. The sliced ones I will use for garnish. I'm putting my craisins in the salad. I'm putting my gorgonzola in the salad. And I'm going to get some of my nice looking pecans over here. I'm going to put some of, ooh, look at those. Look how they clumped together when they dried. I got like 4 or 5 of them sticking together there.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, these look so good. They actually dried really quickly. Just in the time that it took us to make the dressing, they cooled.
And again, with this little handy dandy drink mixer, I'm able just to pour my salad dressing right over it. Oh, it smells good.
Yummy.
I'm going to toss this baby. Did you get your claws?
I didn't take pictures. I didn't take pictures. Hold on. I have my claws. I had to go find them, but I found them, and I can't wait to toss the salad with them.
Ooh, that looks really good.
So tossed up there. Ooh, got to chunk up, crunch, or break up some of those chunks of pecans. need to do a better job of taking pictures because I like to look back at our pictures and ooh and ah and how awesome everything looks.
Can't wait for bubbles again. Really looking forward to it.
You know, I have to say, I don't think I've ever eaten this salad without having a glass of wine. So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Look at that. Looks really yummy. It's got some nice, evenly distributed gorgonzola, craisins, nice finely chopped craisins, the chunks of the candied pecans. Ooh, those pecans. I ate one from my tray. They have a little bit of heat to them.
They do. It's the cayenne
it.
pepper, I think, that kind of does that.
Yeah, I like it. All right. I am ready to plate this. We're going to have a little lunch.
I'm ready to eat this thing. I will show you my my view of my salad because I think it's very pretty. Let me turn this guy around.
So I'll put that on the plate.
So there's my salad with my apple garnish and all my goodies inside, my pecans and my spring mix.
Very pretty. Put some of my apples on here for garnish.
Let me get this to turn around. There we go.
Look at that. Mmm,
Very nice.
so much deliciousness.
Let's see if it tastes as good as it looks.
I always forget to take a picture before I dig in to eat.
That so good.
Oh my gosh.
And very, very simple to make. Wow.
It was very easy. Very easy. You can make it any day of the week and
Sure.
very easy. Well, great. Well, I will drink bubbles to that, Lisa. Cheers.
Me
Great
too.
job. So we'd like to thank our virtual audience for joining today. That's it then. I'd like to thank our virtual audience for joining today, and thank you all so much for watching Cooking with Bubbles. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So if you go to our YouTube channel, there's a big red subscribe button. Please click that so that you become a subscriber and you'll get notices when we post new content. And also be sure to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/cookingwithbubbles.
And if you have any suggestions on recipes that you'd like for us to make on Cooking with Bubbles, send them to our email at cookingwithbubbles@yahoo.com. Well, that takes care of it for today. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Rodney. See you next time.
Bye.